Hello and welcome to New Filmmakers Los Angeles. My name is Danny De Lillo. I'm delighted to be joined by our lovely people who had Candis For President in our film festival. So please welcome Andrea, Michelle, and Candis herself. There we go.
Candis Cayne for President of the United States. Look at that, how presidential. Oh, even your flag is broken. Oh, Jesus is here and he's wearing a gay flag.
Okay, I'm not lying.
Yeah.
Jesus just tried to pinch your ass.
I know. With a little trim, it could be hot.
I will drive down drug costs for seniors and other Americans, and I will reform Medicare delivery systems to deliver value and quality to our seniors and also people with disabilities.
As you know, I'm a huge fan of Candis For President. I love it so much. But for those that haven't seen it, tell us a brief synopsis.
It's basically a short comedy piece that I wrote and based a little bit on the reality of mine and Candis's friendship. It's about a TV producer who is encouraging her best friend, AKA Candis Cayne, to run for president, and that it's easier to potentially get elected president than it is to get your show greenlit in Hollywood as a trans woman.
That sadly is no lie at all. And I want to start because, as you probably hopefully know, I'm not an angry person, but I'm angry because it ended and I wanted more. I needed more Candis For President. Like, I really was dying for it. Okay. So for those, you're going to get addicted. You're going to wish you could just, binge watch this whole thing. Obviously it's based upon your relationship. You and Candis on camera are just this magical duo. Like, as I was saying, like, I feel like I couldn't even take a breath between my laughs. It was a laugh out loud experience. So I'll go to our president first. Please be our president, Candis. How did this kind of, obviously Andrea wrote this, and then obviously your great friendship together. How did you decide together, say, right, we're going to turn this into an actual show?
Well, we wanted to do something together, and me and Michelle really kind of were trying to convince Andrea to be a part of it, because she's usually behind the camera, and she shouldn't be, because she's funny and brilliant, and we have this kind of, we have a chemistry together, off camera and on camera. And we're always laughing, and we enjoy each other so much that it just kind of translates onto camera. So we decided, like, let's do something with this. We really were trying to get a show greenlit, and every time we would go someplace, they would be like, oh, we already have a trans person on this network, so we don't want to, we don't want to have you. But it was a really good show, and we were just kind of frustrated because it was a good project. So we decided, let's just do something. Let's film it. We'll do it cheap. We'll call in favors, and we'll see what comes of it.
Well, Michelle, as Candis said, you're like the energy behind, making this happen and producing it and directing it. So how is the experience like for you? Because you're seeing this friendship and relationship off camera and on camera. Like, what was that experience like, and how is it to even kind of like, direct and produce this duo, because they are infectious when you watch them on screen?
Well, it was undeniable. Like I said, I came in a little late on the scene of their friendship. They knew each other a couple years before and worked together on I Am Kate. And then when I met Andrea, I met Candis, and just, it was, once you get these two started, you're like a fly on the wall. It's like undeniable that you want to document everything that they say. They're constantly entertaining. It's like always something. It's like they're revving each other up. It's like spitballing. It's fun. So I was like, it's undeniable. Let's do something. I mean, we thought of this as a mock campaign podcast that Candis runs for president. And then we're like thinking, well, what else can we do with this? And we all came together one night over a family dinner with Candis's family visiting Los Angeles. And I just picked up my iPhone, and it was documenting their banter, and we're like, there has to be more to this.
Mhm.
So it evolved into Andrea writing it. It evolved into us doing, I mean, it is scripted, but there are moments like that they do improv, and they're incredible at improv. They're both incredible actors. Candis has been acting, you know, she's iconic. Andrea started an improv, dipped out, is probably should get back into acting again, as you can see. Yeah, I mean, we combined minds. We made it happen. We're all scrappy. We're all scrappy like that. So for this to happen was just something that was very intuitive. And I feel like it was time. And I just could not keep them dim. I needed a light to be shone upon these two. You know what I mean? It's just like, I just wanted to make this happen.
Yeah, no, I love this. And this is a no-brainer. Anybody that hasn't seen this or has seen this is a no-brainer. Like, firstly, you know, Andrea, you've been, you know, you've created produced some of the most incredible shows that have ever been seen on television, and been a pivot of change in actually showing visibility to people in the things that you have produced, which is absolutely fantastic. And Candis, you're like, you know, you literally were there before Ellen, you know, in terms of your change and what you did for visibility for the transgender community. You were there when nobody else was there. Like, this is a no-brainer because you led the way before anybody else did in the work that you made. And I'm so thankful for that, because, you know, without you, you know, we may not be where we are today. I can guarantee all the things that we're seeing now. You know, with this kind of being said, and with your experience and all the things you've, you know, achieved in your life, I love the fact that this is a moment in time that I'm like, wow. I mean, Candis, I don't know if you're like, it was so convincing for you to be a president. I was like, please, when is she running? When is she running? I need her right now. Like, really, like, given the juncture of where we are in the world, you know, I mean, is it something you're considering? Like, you were convincing. I mean, what's going on? Or is that just your great acting ability?
I am not considering it. There's too many skeletons in this closet. No, I don't. You know, I'm very political, and I love to watch television and talk about politics. But I don't think I would have the capacity to run. But I do have the capacity to play one on TV.
Yeah. I think one of the most amazing things about you as a person, Candis, is that, you know, you, as well as having your talent on screen, you've also, you know, are just someone that people look up to as a person, and the great words. And I think that is what, you know, every kind of lead of any show should have. You know, are you kind of, in your experience, what was the kind of biggest challenge that you may have faced in this project? I know you've done many projects, but what was the biggest challenge you may have had? Because there was a lot of scenes involved and a lot of people involved, and I was thinking, how do you manage that?
You know, for this actually was really a not very challenging script, because I always find that scripts are challenging when you don't understand the character and you're trying to say words that you don't feel or mean. So, I mean, Andrea wrote this, and the day later we were doing that. Like, we had gotten the dialogue down, we were off book, and we were in the scenes, you know. So there was challenge as far as just walking in heels for 5 miles, you know what I mean? Down the parade route, and like, you know, that kind of thing. But those are minor compared to, you know, when you're in a situation where there's people that aren't paid or scripted, or, you know, it's just they're wandering around. A lot of like interesting things happen, especially in West Hollywood on Gay Pride, you know, for me. So, you know, it was a lot of fun, and I'm used to doing improv stuff. So it was a lot more fun than challenging.
Michelle, you mentioned it about you know, Andrea, I cannot believe this was kind of like your first like official role. Like, you were such a great actor. Like, I was like, wow, like so good. And you know, the way you worked together with Candis was amazing. How did it feel after having so many experience, you know, as a producer, being in front of camera this time? How was that experience for you?
It was so fun. I mean, you know, again, like they said, these two really pushed me to do it. I am definitely more comfortable behind the camera. I've been there for years, but, you know, I think you get into you know, what is safe, you know, and what you know, and then it's hard to like take the step out and let yourself shine. But there's nobody that I would rather do that with than Candis and Michelle. So I think it's all about chemistry, you know, like when you're acting with somebody, when you're bouncing off of someone. And Candis and I have such a great rapport, and you know, we talk all day anyway on WhatsApp. Like that's kind of how our communication and our friendship has grown since I Am Kate, which is how we met. And what I tried to do with the script too is just take pieces of us and our friendship and kind of, you know, put that into it and put that into the dialogue. And then we just spitball off of each other. So that was just kind of like the groundwork, you know, for us to just go off and running, which is what we did. So it was super fun. I loved it. I wish I could do that every day. Right, Cayne?
We
Yeah.
played
Well,
every
Andrea also is just really funny and super quick, and so I she keeps me on my toes. Like she's the driving force behind.
Somebody's got to.
You know, I mean, I think you have such infectious personalities, and something that I literally, you know, it's after watching Candis For President, I'm like, this comedy, these actors, this style, this feeling, this theme, this everything is missing on television. Like it was like, it's missing. I sat there with my husband, I was like, we need this. Like we actually need this. Now it got such a fantastic reaction at the film festival with us at NewFilmmakers LA. And I just want this to outreach around the globe. I really do, at all film festivals. But like, what I'm curious to know is that obviously, you know, writing this, and maybe Michelle, this one you could start with, and Andrea and Candis have to follow with you as well. What did you want your audience to take from Candis For President? It's a tough one.
I just think when we made it, it was such a critical time to just kind of express this idea of, I've always been inspired to tell stories for people that have often been unseen and unheard. And if we could use the device of comedy to express that and to convey a message that is powerful, that, you know, to me, it was something that was undeniable that I had to do and wanted to be a part of. All three of us are a part of the LGBTQIA+ community. So it was a very authentic gesture for us to come together and want to express a message, whether it's in Hollywood or any industry, that, you know, all people need to be seen. You know what I mean? Especially in the trans community. I mean, yeah, I mean, that was my takeaway. And to be a part of that was something that was really, would inspire me. And that would be like something that, as a collective gesture, that I just kind of wanted to set forth in the world.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Everyone's great.
Yeah, I mean, and also it's like, it's such a scary time right now that we're living in, especially for our community. And it's scary and it's serious. And it was our way of kind of fighting back and telling a story about, you know, in a funny way, about the serious times that we live in. And it was scary and serious then. It's even more scary and more serious now with the global pandemic and out of control administration. So yes, sometimes you have to laugh through the pain that you're going through, but it's also to show that we're desperate enough to put me for president. You know.
But
hey,
also I think for me too, it's just like, you know, Candis was the trailblazer. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like she had the first recurring role in television history as a trans woman. Like this is the woman that started, you know, everything. So when we were trying to sell our original idea, and Candis is so talented, and, you know, as a good friend of hers, and just seeing that every day and watching like the struggle, I'm just like, you know, what the hell is going on? Like, why are all these shows getting made? I wanted, and Michelle said it as well, I wanted to shine a light on her because she's so funny and so beautiful and so talented. And the fact that we were getting the door shut on us, I don't get the door shut. I don't like that. Like, it just gives me more motivation. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, oh, okay.
It gives her a lady fire.
Yeah, lady fire. Right? No, but it's like, you know, like, who are you to say no? Like, you know what I mean? I said that before. We had a couple networks say things like, oh, we already have a trans character on our network. Like, there can only be one. I'm just like, shut up. Like, what are you talking about?
And usually I think what the case is the first person out of the gate. The pioneer usually is like a sentence somewhere. Yet when it's a trend, that's when everybody comes out of the floodgate and those people are spotlit. So it's like, it was just really frustrating to both of us that like Candis was the first. So why isn't the first being seen more? Do you know what I mean? Like,
no, I mean, this is a no-brainer. This is an absolute no-brainer, you know? I mean, you know, being transgender shouldn't be regarded as a trend. It shouldn't just have one person, you know, all these things that you said. This is, you know, it's literally, I'm angry because I love you guys so much. You know, I really do love you all. And it's a no-brainer that this should be. And you know, Candis has paid for her time and deserves to have this, you know, it's deserving. It's like, come on, it's like the easiest gift to give because we need the gift and she deserves it, you know? And so do for spearheading that. It's like, come on, it's energy. Come on, it's happening.
Yes,
so, you know, I mean, I want to take out some of the things that are off. There are things that are on the TV right now that don't need to be on TV. We've seen enough. We don't need it. I mean, make some room. There's plenty of room for Candis for President. Okay? So anyway, so sorry, this all got a bit too overexcited, but
I always say this. It would be my dream job.
Okay.
Work every day on set with Michelle and with Andrea, and just be with them and make funny stuff.
Yeah, I agree. When Candis and I met on I Am Cape, I mean, Candis, I think you feel the same way. It was like, I just knew that we were brought into each other's lives for a reason. It was like instant chemistry, instant connection. And, you know, this is just the beginning. Like, we're just starting this train going, maybe a little later than most, but, you know.
I remember when I called you the wrong name.
Yes.
Out of nowhere. I was like, Barbara. I was like, I don't know why I thought of that right now. It was Barbara. Knowing her for like a year, I just looked at her and
hey, Barbara.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I bet you just thought it was part of your charm, Candis. You know,
charm, very charming.
Well, you know, it's not very often that I get put with 3 trailblazers, and I'm so excited for this journey that you are continually on, and I'm so thankful that you are just shining a light on the unseen, the unheard, the change in the way we should see visibility on the screen in so many ways. It's so important for society globally, and particularly this country during this time. I'm very, very thankful you're making this. This is everything, and it needs to be done. And I also know from members of the New Filmmakers LA community, of LGBTQI, of particularly transgender community within New Filmmakers, we're so thankful that this existed, you know, and it's not just for our community, it's also to educate and entertain others as well. And so it's just amazing. It really is. I think you're all really inspirational in different ways from each of your perspectives and your you know, insane plethora of work. But if there are any filmmakers out there, particularly maybe even those in our community or people, you know, trying to trailblaze, you know, areas of the industry we need to change, is there any kind of advice each of you could share? Whoever wants to take that first.
Stay resilient. Never give up. I mean, you're going to hear no 100 times before you hear yes. It's a really tough industry to be in, the creative industry, because you're so self-aware and you're so vulnerable. So when you get that no, it's instills self-doubt, right? But you have to keep going. You have to go to a place to believe that maybe your story can help change someone's life, or evoke change, or you know, connect with people. You know, I think in storytelling and directing, for me, it's like connection. If we can connect in a way that, you know, could create compassion and change, I mean, the sky's the limit. That's the goal.
Yeah,
and be honest and truthful. Like, it's so important when you're telling stories that you're telling something from the heart and something that's real to you, because then the world opens up, and hard work, you know, and the harder you work, the more will come.
Oh, yeah.
And I would just add to that by saying, do things differently, you know, like don't let anybody tell you or put you in a box for how you should do something. Keep moving forward. And one of the reasons too with Candis for President that, you know, we wanted to really do a comedy and fun. It's like, you know, there's so many trans stories that are dark, you know, and painful, and it's okay to laugh, and that's what people want. You know, people want to laugh through their pain, and they want to express themselves in that way. So, you know, don't be afraid to do things differently and keep pushing forward, like Michelle said, and never take no for an answer.
Oh, I want to open my windows and scream out and say, Candis for President. That's what I want to
We're going to do a t-shirt, Danny.
Oh, Danny, we'll send you a t-shirt.
Oh, me, please. Oh,
Yes.
Oh, amazing. Yes, I will wear it. I will wear it and I will post it and I will share it. And we need, yes, please. No, sign me up. Sign me up. Well, I was going to say, obviously, what's next for you, but even if not what's next for you, what are we putting out into the universe for you? What is next in that regard?
I mean, the pandemic has been weird. I just had my first audition this week in 4 months, and it was weird. You know what I mean? Doing it that way. So I think slowly the industry is getting back up, and I have a couple of projects that I'm working on, and yeah, and then Andrea and I and Michelle will probably keep going, doing other stuff together.
I wrote a pilot based on Candis for President, so we are pitching that, and I have another short film that Michelle and I are doing called "How Not to Be a Junkie," and just a couple other projects that we're pitching, and then, you know, doing my day job as well, always producing.
Well, I want to just also add to a direct question to our audience. A direct statement to our audience is that remember these amazing people right here, Andrea, Michelle, and Candis, because there are people out there that paved the way for the way we see entertainment and over the years. And I'm so grateful to you all, because each of you in your own ways have paved the way for how we are moving forward in entertainment. And for that, I'm grateful. And we will never forget those people that have fought hard for us to get where we are today. And that will hopefully keep evolving within our community and beyond. So I'm just very thankful that you have all done that in your careers thus far. And Candis for President, hashtag that.
Yes.
There we go. So thank you all very much. Thanks for joining us. And we can't wait to see more. So thank you all.
Thanks,
Danny.
Danny.
Thank you so much.
Danny.
Thank you for the festival, for giving us a platform to express this collaboration. We're so grateful. I mean,
Thank you, Michelle, for submitting it.